Welcome back to the channel. I want to show you guys how to work with the color chart on the color page. So if you grab some footage and you've seen this color chart, you can zoom in. They sell a few of these. This one happens to be the X-Rite Color Checker Classic, and we can use this to give our image a starting point. Some people do it a few different ways, but I'll show you a way that I learned. On your second icon over, there's Color Match. And you might have clicked on this before and wondered what it's about. So right now we'll choose the Color Match Classic, the Color Checker Classic. And then from our overlay, we need to choose Color Chart. And then we got to line this up to the chart. So we're going to move this over. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to have the little sampling boxes inside of each color. So I'll show you what I mean when we get there. I'm going to pull this here. This is kind of like the surface tracker overlay in a way. So as long as you get these boxes in the center of the samples, that's essentially where it's going to be evaluating the colors at. So you line that up, and then depending on what you're working with, whether it's log or you're now going to convert it to like a 709, I'll go ahead and leave the source gamma on auto target. I'm going to go down to 2.2, and the color space, we're going to go 709. And the color temp, 6500 Kelvin, is generally speaking an accepted white point. When you hit match, you can see the image change. And what these numbers down in the box mean are how well it hit that target reference. So the top half of the square is what the chart or the palette look like. And the bottom half is the adjustment. And you're wanting about 10 or below. If you can get that, that's pretty ideal. Some of these are a little high. And then another thing we need to evaluate, I can try another gamma here just to show you, say 2.4, match. See how it kind of bumps the whiteness level, like the mid-tone white. So that's kind of what gamma exposure does. We'll go to 2.6 and watch the image. Kind of gets more washed out and white looking. That's how the gamma works, is almost like your mid exposure. So I'll leave that like that. And then what we want to do is, I'm going to match it again just to get us back to 2.2. You can open your vector scope, and I'll zoom this into a bigger view. You can see the saturation level isn't quite meeting, exactly where the boxes are. So I'll head on over to our windows, grab a pen tool. I'm going to highlight with just the primary showing. So this would be like if you had color bars and you were trying to line up color bars. So now we have just the primaries here in our vector scope, and we can see that they're off. So what we can do to fix that is on this node, move over to our curves, and we can use hue versus hue to angle, and then hue versus sat to saturate. And then luckily for us, we have our little presets down here that correspond with the colors. So let's start with the red. And we'll keep an eye on the red right here in the vector scope. And this is already kind of heading where it should to land in this box. So that's good. We'll hit green. Now we might not make it with one single color saturation. So as we bring up some of the other colors, you can see it'll saturate the other ones a bit more. So let's go blue. Now blue, you can see, isn't quite hitting our box. So let's go over to our hue versus hue, hit blue. And then this will let us slope it into the right spot. We can also add a little bit of regular saturation, which probably needs to be done at the end as well. So now let's go back to our hue versus sat, and we'll finish off the rest. We'll get our yellow and bring that up a little bit, and we'll have to adjust that on the hue to get it to fall down into our box properly. And now we have our cyan. So it's nice having these little presets here. Let's bring our cyan up, and that's almost all the way saturated. And let's go ahead and adjust our hue on that, bring it down into the box. So as you can see, when I adjust cyan, the blue's moving just a bit. Move the blue a hair. It's not quite as saturated now, but we can get it close to the middle of the box, right about there. All right. And then lastly, we'll do our magenta, which is way down here. So let's go ahead and give that a boost and an adjustment. That's starting to affect the blue a little. So we're getting into the target zone, but that one's still a little lacking. So you could add another node and boost it up a bit more. Let's go back to our power window, and we'll turn this off and just see what the image is doing. So here's our before and here's our after. So skin tones got a little bit of green, especially on him. So there might be a few things we should start looking at, especially if we have our skin tone indicator up. Let's go to the qualifier and hover over the skin. You could see it's a little left of the skin tone indicator in the vector scope. So I'm going to use the offset and just pull everything over just a little bit. And we'll take a look at the skin again and see how his is doing. Also a little down from the skin tone indicator. So you might need to make a global adjustment to pull out a little bit of red or green. That's looking a little bit better on his skin. But that takes you from just having an image that looks like this to starting point of this. So that's how to use the color checker and get a starting point for your image. You could apply that to all your clips or do like a group if you had a bunch of clips from the same camera. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.